He was a decorated Army colonel, a widower, a man of faith. She was a civilian contractor stationed in Syria, counting the days until she could come home to him. That is what Frank believed for 4 months. Every word of it was a lie. And the moment they asked him to turn on his camera, Frank Morrison's life changed forever. Not because of what he saw, but because of what they recorded. This is Fraud in a Moment, and the truth starts now. The Soldier Who Never Came Home. How a dating site, a stolen uniform, and a secret recording held Frank captive for months. Frank Morrison was 66 years old, a retired high school football coach from Hartwell, Georgia, who had given 30 years of his life to a program that had graduated 47 players to college scholarships. He was big-hearted, blunt, and not particularly comfortable with silence. After his wife Patricia had passed 18 months ago, the silence had become enormous. His granddaughter had set up a dating profile. Frank had protested, loudly, repeatedly, and without much conviction. 3 weeks after Patricia's anniversary, he let her do it. One profile, no expectations. The match came on a Tuesday night. Her name, Angela Russo, 58 years old, a civil engineer from Charlotte, North Carolina. Her profile photo showed an attractive woman, dark hair, and a wide, easy smile standing in front of what appeared to be the Trevi Fountain in Rome. Her bio said she loved travel, history, and quiet Sunday mornings. Frank liked quiet Sunday mornings too. He sent her a message. Angela wrote back within the hour. Over the first 2 weeks, they messaged back and forth through the dating platform, carefully, pleasantly, the way two careful people in their 60s do. In the third week, Angela told him something new. She had been offered a contract extension, a significant one, on a water infrastructure project in Syria. She would be working alongside U.S. military personnel at a joint humanitarian site. She was nervous about it, she said, but the money was good, and the work was important. Frank, who had spent decades coaching young men about commitment and sacrifice, told her he admired her, and she seemed moved by that. 3 weeks into the Syria posting, Angela introduced Frank to a man she described as her military liaison, a Colonel James Whitaker of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The colonel messaged Frank directly on a private, encrypted messaging app, speaking in a clipped, authoritative tone about the project's scope and Angela's vital role in it. He mentioned in passing that Angela had spoken of Frank often, and Frank was flattered. The first request for money came in the 6th week. Angela explained that she needed to ship a package home from Syria, but the military logistics company handling shipments required a customs processing fee, $480. She was not able to pay from her field account. It was a bureaucratic headache, she said. She was so embarrassed to ask. Frank wired the money to an account number Colonel Whitaker provided by message. No package ever arrived. There was always a new delay, a customs hold, a secondary inspection, a different fee. Over 3 weeks, $1,200 across 4 separate payments. In her 10th week, Angela, more emotionally intimate now than she had ever been, asked Frank if he would like to video chat. Frank immediately said yes. He'd been waiting to see her face for months. The call connected on a Thursday evening. The woman on the screen was warm and beautiful and looked very much like the profile photo. He was just glad to finally see her. What Frank never considered, however, was the video call might be recording him. What happened in the next 40 minutes is something Frank has described only to investigators and to his pastor. The conversation became personal, emotional, intimate in the way that months of loneliness and connection can produce, even across a screen. And when the call ended, Frank felt closer to Angela than he had felt to anyone since Patricia. The message arrived 48 hours later, not from Angela, from an account Frank did not recognize. It contained a still image, a frame from the video call, and a message that read, "We have the full recording. We will send it to your family, your former colleagues, and your church community unless you pay $5,000 within 48 hours. Bitcoin only. Instructions follow." Frank sat in his kitchen, unable to move, for a very long time. He called his pastor that night, not the police, not his daughter, his pastor, because Frank Morrison, 66 years old, former football coach, father of 3, grandfather of 5, was the most ashamed he had ever been in his entire life. His pastor listened, then said 4 words that Frank would later describe as the most important thing anyone had ever said to him. Frank, call the FBI. Agents explained to Frank that sextortion schemes exactly like this were among the fastest growing categories of online crime targeting older Americans. They told him something else too, something that gave him back a piece of himself. Mr. Morrison, the criminals who run these operations are counting on you being too embarrassed to call us. Frank paid none of the extortion demand. Total losses, $1,680, and months of emotional devastation that no dollar amount can measure. Angela Russo did not exist. Colonel Whitaker did not exist. And the woman in the Trevi Fountain photo lives in Milan and has no idea her image was used to break a widower's heart in Georgia. What did we learn from this story? 1. Military personas are the most common romance scam disguise. The FTC and FBI have specifically identified the military persona as the single most common identity used in romance scams targeting older Americans. 2. Reverse image search every profile photo before investing any emotional or financial energy in an online relationship. Take the person's profile photo and run a reverse image search at images.google.com or tineye.com. 3. Any request for money from an online relationship is a scam. Whether the request is framed as a shipping fee, customs charge, a medical emergency, a legal problem, or a business shortfall. 4. Verify shipping and customs fees independently. Look up the shipping company directly through an independent search and contact them yourself. 5. Treat every video call as a potential recording. Once you are on any video call with a person you do not know in real life, assume the call may be recorded. 6. Deepfake video is real and accessible. The technology to overlay a stolen face onto a live video call is no longer experimental or expensive. Criminal networks use it routinely. 7. Never pay an extortion demand. It confirms you will pay and invites more demands. 8. Shame is the scammer's most powerful tool. Romance scammers and sextortionists rely on their victims' embarrassment to maintain silence. 9. Encrypted apps are not a sign of safety. Scammers move conversations from dating platforms to encrypted messaging apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, or Signal to remove their activity from the dating platform's monitoring systems. Frank's saga is a story about a weapon most people never see coming. It's not a scam that arrives in your mailbox, not a fake government call, not a press release on a trusted website. It's a relationship built slowly, carefully, and with devastating patience by people who study what loneliness looks like. The video call was a trap, and the shame that followed was designed, engineered, to keep Frank quiet and keep the money moving. This has been Fraud in a Moment, where we expose the schemes hiding in plain sight and give you the tools to protect what's yours. Until next time, stay alert, stay steady, and remember, when a recorded cyber romance comes along with a price, your silence guarantees you'll be paying more than twice.